I want to take you through what we do with list building and how we work, to be honest with you, really hard just to ensure that, we build really robust lists for you. And there's a couple of steps that I want to take you through here to give you an insight into the level and layers of detail that there are. So first of all, of course, we're going to talk about, your target kind of individual, whether that person lives on LinkedIn, and we'll use that as a blueprint to look at, how big then that total market is, of course. The second layer to that, depending upon if that person is on LinkedIn, or if that person is on another directory or Facebook group or community, we'll look to see where and how we can easily identify that type of individual and where he clusters online, no matter how niche the actual industry is. I mean, we could do this really via a Google search alone if needed, and then find all of the index results and then take that as a basis to look at, well, how can we easily reach out to these people? Well, then basically, allocate the data sets once we've identified them to our actual team of data miners. And that's step two that you can see there, that once you've got the target individual, we'll allocate that to a dedicated data miner, and we'll go to start really build lists. And where and when necessary, we'll build these lists. We'll also scrape components of data, and we need to build really HTML and XML scripts, or we'll use something like Octopath or a variation of data mining software tools to make sure that we can scrape reliable bodies of data depending upon where that data lives online. And this is something that our data mining team will take care of. So these lists really go fully into development, which can take 4 to 7 days to develop fully and build. Once we've got that initial raw list based upon our data set, we'll then begin to remove grey listed. So grey listed means that it's an account that has had issues with sending or has some troubles with it, which perhaps can identify that that's perhaps not the best role or email to send across. Then you'll have inactive accounts, so company accounts have gone dead and they're being bounced and they're not being monitored. Then you've got perhaps catch-all accounts, which we do and don't send to depending upon the size of the business. So info@emails can work when it's small business, right? When it's 1 to 10 employees, the info@email will typically get seen by the actual business owner. If we're talking 100 employees, then that's not the best actual email account to actually look at. Then you've got, of course, personal email accounts. You've got Gmail, you've got Hotmail, you've got Yahoo, you've got all of these other actual accounts that really compose personal emails that we don't want to be sending people to, and these are the other email accounts we'll begin to get rid of. So once we've done and gone through those processes with identifying the individual, identifying the directory, identifying the data sets, passing it to the data miner, beginning to actually build lists based upon using scraping tools, using directories, using manual searches to assimilate and develop a list of raw leads that we could then begin to target. We'll then begin to start cleaning that list. So there's a deep cleanse that happens, and we then, once we've got that final list, we'll actually go and use a second step to doubly verify the data to make sure that it's reliable as possible. So we'll use a couple of actual list verification tools along our process. The first one being the fact that it's online. The second one being that, how good is that body of data? The third one really being that let's start removing personal layers of data. Then we'll actually, with that list, we'll verify it once more. So there's multiple steps that are involved. And it's at that stage that we can begin to prepare that list for launch. And steps 2 to 7, right? Allocating the individual data miner, beginning the list building, scraping, removing bad emails, doubly checking that the bad emails have been removed, and then getting that list ready for launch is an ongoing process. So in this way, we can really build strong sets of emails to begin running reach out to for your campaign to book calls into your calendar.